Okay, let's talk about cellular differentiation and how it relates to chair building. Okay, so look at this raw wood. This raw wood is kind of like a stem cell. It can go on to be any wood product you can think of. It's not yet specified. Okay, so this wood can go on to be anything that we could think of that is made out of wood. Now that it's cut, it's more like an adult stem cell. There are still lots of options. It can be lots of things, but it's slightly differentiated now. So it can't be just anything. Okay, very much like an adult stem cell. It can be a lot of things, but it can't be anything like the embryonic stem cell could be. Okay, so then now we have the final product, which is like a fully functioning cell. It has its job, and it will do that job. It is fully differentiated and can't do anything else but the job that it's now programmed to do. Just like the chair is now built to be a chair, that's what it will be. Okay, but how do all of these cells know what exactly they have to do? That's where DNA and your genes come in. So you have this person right here, big, strong person, big muscles, great brain, beautiful heart. Okay? So your brain and your muscle and your heart are three different types of tissue. Okay? And do they have different functions? I think we all know the answer to that. And the answer is yes, of course, they have different functions. Now, a tougher question. Do they have different DNA? Is there different DNA in your brain cell than there is in your muscle cell or your heart cell? And the answer to that is no, absolutely not. You have your DNA in your cells, and the exact same DNA is in every cell of your body. The difference is there are some genes on your DNA that specifically code for brain function. So those genes turn on and off and in different order at different times, and that is what allows your brain to behave in the way your brain needs to behave. It's the genes, certain genes that are just for your brain on your DNA. Then you have, let's say, certain genes on your DNA that, depending on how they turn on and off, will help your muscles function, and they code for specific muscle function. And that's blueprinted on your DNA. Your body knows exactly what genes to turn on and off to get your muscles to function exactly the way they need to function. And then there are some genes on your DNA that, depending on how they are turned on and off, in what order and at what time, they code for heart function. And I could go on and do this with every different cell in your body. All of your genes are on your DNA. It's all the same DNA, but depending on how those genes turn on and off and at what different times, gives each cell its specific, each tissue its specific function. Okay, different genes turn on and off in different cells to make that cell do different things. Okay, all the same DNA though. So this is why we know that if a suspect leaves saliva or blood or skin at a scene of a crime, do we expect those tissues to have different DNA? And the answer is no. Of course we don't expect them to have different DNA. That is why we are able to use DNA analysis to find criminals. Because we know that if a criminal leaves different types of fluid at a scene, all of that fluid will have the same DNA.